I can honestly say that my week has been extremely rough in the rat race, and I do look forward to these shows, man. So what's going on? How you been?
All is well, brother. I can't complain, man. Busy as normal. We both trying to be entrepreneurs over here, and
Yeah,
that field is getting much, 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 much more intense as the days
yeah.
go along. But all in all, it's a great, enjoyable journey. You're learning as you're going along, and I guess this is what it's all about, man. So I'm ready for it. But I had a great weekend. Went to a baby shower yesterday. Turned up a little bit. It was always great.
Yeah, I
I
saw the
next fella's night.
Instagrams.
Oh,
The
yeah,
Instagrams. Yeah, it looked like you had a
yeah,
good
man.
time.
Yeah, man. 2 hour ride, but yeah. But besides that, it was great. But I was honestly while I was at the event, I truly was looking forward to this right here. Can I say
Okay.
I'm really happy that these two are here. First of all, ladies, you got to give it to them. They are gorgeous, both of you, very beautiful. But I was really looking forward to this conversation. I couldn't wait. So, Will, without any further ado.
Yeah. So, like you said, we have two gorgeous young ladies on the show by the names of Tisa and Nelly. And starting off with Miss Tisa, can you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself? What do you do? How you doing it? Yeah, just give us the rundown.
Yeah, first, y'all, thank you for inviting me. I'm super excited. I love to talk. And I love to talk about conversations that, we don't normally have. So I was super excited to have this conversation today. So my name is Tisa. I live in Maryland. I have two boys. I am a employee benefits consultant by day, but in the process of turning my passion into my career full time. So I spend a lot of my time cultivating spaces for healing, growth, faith, and hope by writing. If you guys check out my Instagram, it's Tisa_Renee. I spend a lot of time writing a lot about my healing journey, and writing, making up quotes and just inspiring and writing inspirational stuff on my Instagram to spread, that love, hope, and healing message. And having conversations like these. I also have lives that we do every 2 weeks on Instagram. They're called Normalizing Healing for Our Culture, where we have difficult conversations about things that we don't normally talk about in the Black community. And I'm also a life coach as well. Super excited to be here.
All right, awesome. And this next guest is no stranger. She's been on the show before, and she's dropped some gems on the female perspective. But just in case you haven't listened to that episode, which, I'm suggesting you should go back and listen to it. But just in case you haven't, Miss Nelly, please give us a little rundown about who you are and what you do.
Thank you all for having me back. I had a blast the last time, so happy to be back. I'm Nelly Lubin. I also live in Maryland. By day, I am a curriculum development manager in the learning and development world. So I love exploring how the brain works, how people connect. And, I'm excited to bring some of the intra and interpersonal topics that we talk about and really hopefully have it land with our audience. I am working on a health and wellness tech company. So that is a big idea that I'm in the trenches of. And so stay tuned for that. It is going to be a little while, but you heard it here first. And I have no children. So There's another perspective I'll be able to add to this.
All right, awesome.
But I must ask, because what I notice a lot of guys do, they always ask, you have a guest on, especially a beautiful woman like you guys, they must know. I don't know why, but they want to know if you're single. Are you guys single?
I'm not married.
Not married.
Okay, not married. Okay.
I love that answer.
I love that. I do too.
I love that.
I see where this is going already.
I am single. I'm single.
All right.
So you guys go.
Tisa is not married, and Nelly. No. Sorry.
No.
Nelly is not married. Tisa is single, just for the clarification. Okay. All right. And I am married. Okay. I am married happily. And Mr. Vernon, the general, is.
Yes.
What
I have a lady.
You have a lady. Okay.
Yes,
all righty. Then this is just getting better already. Okay. All right. So now that we have set the context All right. Now, the very first question. All right. So we've all heard this before, a man meets a young lady, invites her on a vacation. They've been talking for maybe a week, two, whatever, however long, maybe, but that they've never had sex. Is the invitation and the actual joining of the two people on vacation an automatic, guaranteed sexual event that is going to take place? Like, is the woman obligated to have sex with the man if he takes her on vacation? All right, I'm gonna start off with Mr. the general on this one, because I want to know what you think. I know what I
Me?
think. Yeah, I know what I think, but I'm gonna start off with you. Set the tone. Let's go.
I ain't gonna shut. You gonna shut with me because you know
Yeah,
I'm reckless with it.
that's
Hell
why. That's
yeah.
okay.
Yes. I think we all know the first thing we do, especially in our age brackets. What is one of the most things that excites us at this point in age where we are right now?
Having fun,
What else?
Good
What?
conversation.
having
Conversation,
sex.
yes, and that too. But what else? What is something else that we always look forward to?
Traveling.
Vacation. Thank you.
Traveling.
Okay.
Traveling.
Yeah.
Traveling. That is
I-
always in somebody's. That's definitely in the top three. If it's not in the top three, it's in the top five. We
Okay.
something about catching flights is something that just does something to us, and we get very excited. So therefore, I think when you invite someone out, especially so, let's just say you guys are in Maryland, and I take one of you guys out on a date. Well, I don't take our first date is here in Jersey. I say don't drive here. I'm not gonna drive down there. I'm gonna put you on a flight. Come over here. How does that feel? How you guys gonna take that real quick, very quickly? Are you gonna be excited about that?
And we've been dating a week.
Let's say we've been talking for about almost a month.
I think I would be. I like adventure, and spontaneity, so I would be excited.
You'll be excited, right? Nelly, you'll be excited too. What? And let's just say I don't need to bring you in Jersey. I'll say, yeah, I'm flying you out to Texas. We're gonna fly to Cali somewhere. You're gonna be excited. So it's our first time hanging out, but we've been talking for a little bit. We got, like you said, Nelly says, conversation. I enjoy conversation. So you mean to tell me I don't pay for this ticket for you to fly all these miles to come over here, and we're just gonna vibe out, which is totally cool. That is a great thing. But we're vibing, and we out here 2-3 days, whatever long the vacation is, and you mean to tell me we're not gonna get intimate on no levels? I think that's the most mind-boggling thing ever. I think it just baffles my mind. What are we doing here? Especially in this age bracket. What are we doing here? I didn't invite you for my health. We all know that. So before I go deep into that, I'm gonna let the floor have. I'm gonna give it back to you guys because I got so much. You can see I'm very passionate about stuff like this. But I'm gonna let our guest, Miss Tisha, go first.
All right. So yeah, Miss Tisa. So what are your thoughts on this?
It's the expectation for me. So I think if we're honest, right, both of us are naturally, if we're talking, right, and we see what each other looks like, let's just say we've been FaceTime before. I don't know, maybe we've met in person, maybe we haven't, right? But if we haven't, I'm sure we have our video chatting in some way, right? Naturally, we're adults, we have sexual desires, right? So it's an underlying, obviously, if you're talking to the person, there's some type of sexual attraction. So it's there, right? Let's not be ignorant and say like, it doesn't exist. However, to invite me to say that I'm going on a trip, and sex is going to happen because you paid for a ticket and invited me somewhere, I got a problem with that. Like,
but you don't know that. But I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Let
go.
okay, well, let's say, one, I'm gonna have the conversation. We're gonna have the conversation about sex before we go somewhere, because I don't like to. What I'm not gonna do is assume anything. So I'm gonna ask what your expectations are, or if I'm not, let's say I'm not necessarily ready to have sex with you, right? Before I say yes, I'm gonna let you know, just in case that's what you're thinking. I'm gonna be like, so just so you know, like, we not like, because I'm not, this is where I am, like, where are you? We're gonna have that conversation before I actually go, just because I don't want to assume, and I don't want any unspoken expectations, because I don't want nobody to get upset when we come back from our little trip.
So what I'm gathering is that you have to set the expectations prior before even going on the trip. So you kind of
Yeah.
have to have the agreement of whether or not this is going to happen if we both decide that we're going to do this.
Mhm.
All right, all right,
I'm
all right.
planning that trip. Go ahead.
Miss Nelly, I'm the floor is yours.
um, I agree with Miss Tisa. I'm memories are popping back up for me. But I agree with Miss Tisa. You should have the conversation ahead of time. The alternative is also, depending on your vibe, you as the lady, if we're just going to talk from strictly safety standpoint, pay for your own ticket. That eliminates the upper hand that he has. He can take care of the trip while you're out there, but pay for your ticket. That's a nice little game that you can play to make sure that you have the edge. But yeah, I don't believe in assumptions. It depends on your vibe. It depends on the conversation. Sometimes people don't want to be that explicit because it kind of is a vibe killer. But you should, both of you all should be able to read the situation. Both of you all should be sharp enough to know what it is. Assume everything and assume nothing.
Okay. All right. So that I can honestly say that I agree. However, I just need women to know that, and I'm going to speak for most men on this one. And I normally don't do this, but I think most men will agree. And Deshaun, just let me know if I'm lying or offline. But the moment you say yes, if I invite you on a vacation, and the moment you say yes, sex is automatically a part of the whole deal. Like the moment you say, okay, we going on vacation, I need women to know that it is an expectation that we are one of them days. If we going on a trip for 3 days, at least one of them days we probably it's gonna happen. That is an expectation of us if we say yes. If you say yes, rather. I don't know of any man that's going to pay for a vacation for somebody and just want to talk the whole time, especially if there's a beach and alcohol involved, and there's y'all in the same room. I like that. To me, that's an automatic. Like, all right, we having some amazing vacation base sex, even though we're not base. It's just a automatic thing. That is the only thing, not the only thing we think about. You know, we want to have the conversation. We want to have the great food. We want to have the experiences. But sex is definitely intertwined in that whole ordeal.
But I don't think you also, I'm sorry. Y'all go ahead. Go ahead.
Ellie, you go first.
I got a question.
Yes.
Base, but we're not base. So why are if it's such an expectation, why aren't you explicit with that? Like, hey, I'm inviting you on this trip for good food and some good bang bang. Why don't you come out and just say it? Because clearly we think differently. And so why should I assume that's what you mean, but you don't assume otherwise for me? Like, why should I think about what you're assuming?
Because I think we're simply grown enough to know that we're here. We know, like, we both have needs. I'm not inviting you just for conversation. That's the case. We're gonna keep FaceTiming. How about that? Okay. We are on vacation. How often does a man take you on your first date out of the country somewhere? Let's be realistic here. Every time you go on a date is normally within your area. This is something exclusive. So if I took out the time to go in deep into my expenses, not taking you on no $50 or $100 date, I'm taking you over $1,000 date, and we actually getting a vacation out of it as well. I mean, how could you not leave the door open or the room open to say, okay? And also another thing you guys mentioned is I don't think you'll say yes to go on a date out on vacation with the guy that you're not attracted to, or you don't think that you can see yourself having sex with, because you know the vibe is going to happen. The moment is going to present itself. Am I correct? You wouldn't go on a vacation outside of the country with a guy that you're not attracted to, or
I mean, some people are like, all right, he's just offering a trip. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, it happens. I'm not gonna.
No, we know that it happened. We talking about you. Would you?
I don't want to put myself in that. Okay. You know, I'm cerebral, so I might need more conversation. I'm just keeping it real. I might need more conversation.
But that whole month you had a whole month of talking to this guy.
Yeah,
that's not a long time.
That's not a long time. It's better than the first week. It's better than the first week. This is why I gave you 3 months. I gave you 3 weeks to a 4-week window. What else do you need? we're
Why do
not
you
going to learn each other whole lifetime and within that short period of time. No.
why do
So
you
I
want to
gotta
fly me out after a month? Like just know me for a month.
say it again.
Why do you want to fly me out after just a
Why
month?
don't
For the
well, I was just
experience.
giving
But,
you
but
yeah, for the
it's legit
experience.
for the experience. Like
Yeah,
Y'all
if you
lying.
no, there's no lie. No, seriously. It's legit for the experience. So if I meet somebody that I'm vibing with, maybe I'm not even looking at them as a long-term relationship. And I'm this is what men think. I'm being totally raw.
Yeah.
I don't have no condom on right now.
I
Like
was about to say that,
I'm
yeah.
raw on it, right? Like like literally, like if I'm vibing with a person, if I'm single, if I'm vibing with a person, I might not see them longevity wise at all. But if I'm just legit vibing, I might want to go on a vacation with them just for the experience. And if we vibing on that level, I need you to know that the expectation is if I'm paying for this, if this is coming out of my pocket, we have to do there is an almost necessity that this has to happen, or else at the end of this vacation, me and you won't be talking again. Now that might be fine for you, or might be not okay. But regardless of it, it is an expectation for, and I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm going to say 99.9% of the men that will hear this, if they paying for everything, that is an automatic expectation.
Can I add one thing here? I'm aware of that, but I'm gonna tell you, many women may not make that assumption. So why not be bold and say, if you're really who you say you are, just say, hey, here, why don't you lead that conversation?
Because if I have to say that, that means that,
Takes away from
and I don't want to say like a an intelligence type of thing, but I want to say more of like like we're not on the same level. If that has to be explicitly said and understood to the point where I have to say, okay, I'm gonna pay for this vacation, but I want to have sex. if I pay for it, like how does that sound
that
coming
takes away.
from?
That's no
That's
different than go ahead. Tim.
that's really unfair. That's a really unfair
Okay.
assumption to make. You're meeting someone, right?
Mhm.
And we all have lived very different lives, meaning we have very different perspectives that shape us, right? That contribute to our own expectations and the way we move at life. To meet someone and to assume that they have the same expectation of you or understand your expectations without knowing where you come from, your story, have lived your life, your background, and without you saying it, that's really unfair and it's really, really dangerous. Really dangerous. Because we live different, like, think about the things that shape us. Our experiences in our lives shape us. We all have lived tremendously different lives and have very different experiences, right? Like let's say we're dating, like we've been talking for a month, right? And I hate to go, I'm gonna go here, right? But it's real. Maybe I'm uncomfortable or maybe not as quick to sexually engage with a man because I've been raped or I've been sexually abused. But we haven't discussed that really because we've only been talking for 4 weeks and we haven't developed that level of safety yet, right? That I feel safe enough to have that conversation with you. You could be missing out on a great woman, thinking that you're going to take her on a trip and she doesn't have the expectation that you want to have sex with her and she doesn't have sex with you and you stop talking to her without ever laying that expectation or having a conversation to open up the door, like that's dangerous. And it's unfair.
I totally agree. But also, I think that's something that you need to relay. That's no different than the communication of you telling me that I got to keep it 100, lay down expectations before we go on this trip. I think you need to, without in that month period,
Before you go
I
on
think
a trip.
some things before you go on a trip.
Yeah.
Therefore, what I'm getting to is don't say yes to the trip.
Exactly.
Because you know that you withheld that information.
Exactly.
You withheld that because of your personal, and there's no offense against you. You hold on to that as long as you want to, but you can't fault me for not knowing that. And then when I pursue it, then you come out with all that. Then I'm like, okay. But like you said, what if I miss out on the chance of you, all because you didn't lay that out there? Well, that's part of your fault too, because you never told me that. I would never pressed up on you if I would have known that aspect of it. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I think that's a bang bang play right there, because you withholding information, just like you telling me I'm withholding information by not telling you I got these expectations. But to kind of go back to what you were saying earlier, Will, was the fact that I can understand what he's saying, because it's no different than that's like women. Say a woman wants, I had this conversation last week. Your partner wants you to, I want my partner to be a little bit more aggressive. I want her to be aggressive to me. I hate always having to be the aggressor, the
initiator.
The initiator.
Yeah,
I always
yeah,
got to do it. Surprise me. Now, if I go tell her this, when she do it, it's no longer sexy. It doesn't do nothing for me because I had to tell you.
Yeah.
So if I got to tell you that I'm expecting us to have sex on it, that vibe, and when we on this vacation,
you ruined it all.
is not, you ruined the whole thing. So that's where we're coming from that aspect of it, because we're automatically thinking when we take you on this trip, not only are we setting the scenery and the views, the vibe and everything, the food experience and conversation, we're setting the whole entire atmosphere. So you're robbing me of part of this atmosphere, this great experience, because of, I got to tell you now.
Yeah.
So we could play that game back and forth. You get what I'm saying? We're withholding things. So that's where I'll come forward with that one. Like, I don't want to have to tell you everything. That's why I said earlier, I made the point of, we're grown. We both know at this point, we, like I said, we all have needs and we know what life is. Everybody got no time to be wasting, especially if you past 30 years old and you got expectations. If you want kids, whatever the case may be, stop playing games and let's get straight to it. I think we're past that point in stage where we got to put sex in. And I think, Nelly, we talked about that a little bit in our last episode we did. We put expectation on sex so much, we put it on this high pedestal. Let's get the shit over with and move on. If that's something that is very important in your relationship, now you can tell within a few weeks that you know this person, okay, I got to move on because she doesn't satisfy me, or vice versa. But I think when we put sex on this pedestal of, it got to be this amount of months and this amount of time before I have sex with somebody, I think it's just complete blasphemy, if you ask me. But that's just how I feel. So.
Okay, so I think we kind of established that it's better to have the conversation prior to the acceptance of going on vacation, and prior to accepting, the invitation. I think it's best to have a conversation about the expectations while we're on the vacation. So, and I think that if that does happen, if we do say, okay, I have this trip, in that invitation, the expectation is sex, and then you guys do say, well, that I'm uncomfortable with having sex so soon, or whatever the reason may be, then I think that, would you look at the man differently if he said, okay, well, maybe we shouldn't go on vacation? Or would you guys, understand that, okay, I understand that he's paying for this trip, and I don't want to have sex, and he doesn't want to go now because I don't want to have sex. Are you going to hold that against him?
No. I respect honesty. I wholeheartedly respect honesty, and there is no judgment. So no.
Nelly?
It depends. It depends on the vibe.
No, she would.
It depends on the vibe. It depends on the vibe. I mean, we like to say we don't judge, but we judge. That's how we come up with opinions. So depending on the vibe of how things go, or how we've been interacting and conversing, will determine, if you've been saying like, man, I just want to get to know your heart and that in your mind, and that's all I care about. And then you're like, I'm going to fly you out. I just want us to have an experience. And then I say, hey, here is what I'm comfortable with. I'm willing to go on a trip with you, but I'm not quite comfortable going there. And you're like, well, you know what? Scratch it.
You gonna feel some kind of way?
Yeah. So I would say, to my point, I'm not gonna judge him, but I'm definitely gonna stop talking to him. That's not a man I would pursue. I would, but that your honesty let me know is how I can move, right? Like, I'm not gonna judge you. That's on you, but that's not the type of man that I want to date. So I'm a move left. But I appreciate your honesty.
But then that's
not fair.
Yeah, that's not right. So
this is another conversation I want to have. Like, you were talking about, the woman should let you know if she's been in a compromising situation that's inhibiting her from moving forward. But you're like, I'm not going to explicitly spell out we're having sex. I'm like, she needs to be bold enough to share something very intimate, but you are uncomfortable explicitly saying, hey, we about to bang it out. Like,
thanks.
Why is all the responsibility on the lady to make sure she governs this part of the conversation when you're the one who's making the assumption?
because you guys are, we can't, this vacation will never exist if you don't say yes. That's why the ball is in your court.
But you
That's why we say,
initiated it. You're the one who wants to have this vacation. You're like, hey, I want to have this vacation.
I do, but I'm initiating and thinking, going into it with the mindset that you know the entire landscape of things. So
I don't. This is your trip.
Yeah.
This is your thoughts. This is your brain. How am I? You don't want to read my mind. Why should I read yours?
I'm gonna call it manipulation.
Wait. So, call what? Call the actual invitation to the trip manipulation, or what?
Yeah, I'm gonna call the act of asking someone on a trip with an unspoken expectation, and then if it doesn't happen, you getting upset, like wanting something from someone without you putting it out on the table, but doing it under the guise of, oh, I just want to have a good. That's manipulation.
And then you're like, you're gonna stop talking to her because of that. But then when she just said, hey, I'm gonna stop talking to dude if he switches his mind, it's like, oh, hold up, you can't do that. Like, be accountable and responsible on both sides. It's not just one-sided.
So yeah, I agree. I agree. But I also feel like if a guy is paying for a trip and he's feeling you and he just wants to just get to know you better in that space and experience you in that space, and then you say, yes, I go, and then you guys are literally in the same room having these same romantic experiences, and for you guys to expect the guy to not want to do anything or even have the expectation to do anything.
That, yeah.
Well, okay, so having the expectation to do it and not get upset when it doesn't happen, or maybe not upset isn't the word, but like not feel some kind of way if it doesn't happen afterwards.
Just like she has.
I don't know if that's fair. I don't know if that's particularly fair.
Just like you said, she has to open up her mouth and let you know all her life secrets and happenings. Like, you can't assume. We're wired differently. You can't make that assumption. Like, you're going to get upset because you made an assumption. She had another assumption. That is recipe for disaster. Communication 101 is not silence. Like, you may have to spell that out. If we're saying to you, hey, it's not automated like for me like it is for you, that's an indication that you might have to do something uncomfortable. You might have to speak.
Damn, you messing up, Ash. But hold on, Will. Before you go on that, hold on, Will.
Take nobody on a vacation no more. Like I'm just not. I mean, I'm married, so my time is up for that. But like, even if I wasn't, like, I wouldn't even have that recommendation for somebody. Because I'm being honest with you, if I'm paying for it, I'm gonna want something. Like, if I'm paying for everything, I pay for the flight, I pay for the Uber to the airport, I pay for the meals. If it's not all inclusive, I'm like, if I'm doing all of this, I'm sorry.